Okay, let's unpack this. There's certainly a lot of chatter around the gridiron right now regarding a particular contract negotiation, and it's getting pretty heated.
Yeah, it really is.
This isn't just about football. It's a high-stakes power play, a passionate, dramatic standoff unfolding between Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones and their superstar defensive force, Micah Parsons. You can practically feel the tension.
You really can.
Our mission today is to, well, cut through all the noise, peeling back the layers of this unfolding story. We want to ensure you understand every crucial detail, from the contrasting statements on both sides to the critical role of the agent and, the broader implications for how players and teams interact these days. This isn't just business. It feels deeply personal, impacting the very culture of, well, one of the league's most iconic franchises.
It absolutely does feel personal, and what's immediately fascinating here is how directly Jerry Jones has articulated his position. He's framing it both in terms of immense financial commitment and his unshakable view of the hierarchy, ownership versus player representation.
Right. Jones has been incredibly forthright about the Cowboys' contract offer to Micah Parsons, stating unequivocally that it was a deal that would have made Parsons the highest-paid non-quarterback in the entire NFL.
Oh.
Think about that for a moment, setting a new bar for defensive players.
And he didn't mince words when it came to his perceived appreciation for Parsons either, did he? Claiming, "Nobody appreciates Micah Parsons more than the Cowboys or me. Nobody has ever offered him more money than I have to play football. Period." That's a strong statement of value.
It really is a very strong statement.
But then things took a sharp turn. Jones then revealed an incredibly vivid and frankly inflammatory account of how Parsons' agent, David Mulugheta, allegedly responded to the details of that very offer.
Yeah, this part was something else.
His words were, "When we wanted to send the details to the agent told us to stick it up our ass," just so you're clear.
Oof.
That kind of direct public quote isn't something you hear every day, and it tells us a lot about the friction already present, doesn't it? It's an extraordinary quote, absolutely, and it speaks volumes about Jones's negotiating style, his philosophy, and maybe his frustration with the whole process. He sees his role very clearly, stating, "My job is managing the check. Okay, Micah's got to do the playing." And then he adds,
Yeah.
"Where's the least important part of this whole equation? The attorney or the agent? Okay, he works for Micah."
So basically dismissing the agent's role entirely.
Exactly. It's not just casual dismissal. It's a strategic attempt to marginalize the agent's influence, suggesting direct communication with the player is what matters most.
Right.
What's insightful here is Jones's belief that he and Parsons had previously agreed on the length of the deal, guaranteed money, and total money. He even added, "I've agreed to give more money than has ever been given as far as a defensive player."
So he's painting a picture of already being incredibly generous.
Precisely, establishing his narrative. And he's clearly leaning into the team's significant contractual leverage, reminding everyone, Micah's got 3 years with the Cowboys left. He's got 3 years.
3 years.
At some point, somebody has to have the say over the other. At some point, it has to be that way.
That's classic owner talk, isn't it? Asserting ultimate control through the existing contract.
It is. He's basically saying, we have the legal framework, and we intend to use it.
It definitely sounds like Jones believes he holds all the cards here, emphasizing the power of that existing contract.
Yeah.
But, like any drama, there's another side.
Always.
And Micah Parsons isn't just sitting back silently. He's launched his own counteroffensive, kind of pushing back on that narrative.
What he's saying?
Well, Parsons asserts that the initial meeting with Jones, the one Jones claims was about a contract, was actually intended to be about team leadership, and crucially, without his agent involved.
So totally different premise for the meeting.
Exactly. Suggests a significant disconnect right from the start. And things have clearly deteriorated since then. Parsons is reportedly upset that the Cowboys haven't shown more urgency to get a deal done and have tried to go around his agent.
Okay, that makes sense given Jones's comments.
And it's not just talk. He's now publicly requested a trade. A drastic measure for a player like him.
Yeah, a trade request is huge. And Parsons' actions are, well, they're far more than just emotional outbursts, right? They are a calculated form of communication and leverage in today's sports world.
How so?
When a player, especially one of Parsons' profile, makes a trade request or uses social media so pointedly, It's a strategic move. It applies immense pressure on the team.
Like we saw with Myles Garrett, maybe.
Exactly. We've seen parallels. Garrett initially requested a trade from the Browns before eventually getting that record extension. It's a power play, signaling unhappiness and a willingness to look elsewhere.
And Parsons has been very public with his social media activity, too.
Oh, absolutely. Effectively weaponizing it. He wiped any mention of the Cowboys from his X and Instagram bios.
Saw that.
Posted a TikTok waving goodbye.
Right.
And maybe most tellingly, shared that Edgar Allan Poe quote on Instagram stories. Believe nothing you hear and half of what you see.
What do you make of that?
Well, this raises a critical question, doesn't it, about the narrative being shaped publicly and what that means for fan perception. He's directly challenging Jones's public statements.
So it's like a battle for the narrative.
Totally. And what's insightful is how Jones, maybe a more traditional owner, relies on contractual power and media addresses, while Parsons, the modern superstar, is leveraging public opinion and social media in ways players couldn't before.
It's like a clash of eras in negotiation.
Exactly. And you see it amplified because these messages from Parsons really ramped up after Jones's media tour for that Netflix docuseries, America's Team.
Ah, the timing. Almost like a direct digital response.
Feels like it, yeah.
That's a key point. Parsons is fighting for his narrative, but ultimately in pro sports, the numbers often do the loudest talking.
They certainly do.
And when we look at Micah's performance, those numbers aren't just speaking, they're screaming.
Yeah.
And they really underscore his position in this whole standoff.
Absolutely. If we connect this to the bigger picture, Parsons' performance stats and the market for elite defensive talent clearly put him in line for a top-tier contract. His demands are, from a market perspective, entirely justifiable.
Let's get into those specifics.
Okay, so he's only 25 years old, former number 12 overall pick in 2021. He's played out his 4-year rookie deal that was over $17 million, nearly $9.8 million signing bonus.
Right.
And just to clarify for everyone listening, Dallas did exercise his 5th-year option. That's the option teams have for first-rounders.
Right. Keeps him for a 5th year.
Exactly. So for Parsons, this means he's slated to make $21.32 million guaranteed in 2025. That's already locked in.
Okay. But it's his play that's driving the extension talk.
Oh, absolutely. His on-field production speaks volumes. In just 13 games last season, 43 total tackles, an impressive 12 tackles for loss, 12 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 1 pass deflection.
Those are elite numbers, game-changing stuff.
Definitely. Places him among the very best. And this kind of consistent production, plus the huge deals recently signed by other top guys like Myles Garrett.
That was 5 years, $125 million.
Yep. And TJ Watt, 4 years, $112 million. These deals establish a very clear market value for Parsons.
So he's not just asking for crazy money out of nowhere.
Not at all. He's seeking a massive contract extension that aligns with what other proven elite talents at his position have already commanded. It's a financial reality the Cowboys have to deal with.
And it's those undeniable numbers that make this standoff so intriguing. It really puts the ball back in the Cowboys' court, despite Jones's claims about that record offer he supposedly made. Now, adding another layer here is what ESPN's Stephen A. Smith has been reporting. Apparently, he spoke with Jerry Jones recently.
Oh. What does Stephen A. say?
Smith now believes Parsons and the Cowboys will reach an accord eventually, but, and this is key, he explicitly notes that it's currently a standstill.
Okay, so eventual agreement, but gridlock for now.
Right. And Smith, being direct, also described Jones as stubborn as he always has been, even calling his approach counterproductive and saying it compromises your cap by delaying these big contracts.
That's a good point about the salary cap implications. Kicking the can down the road. It makes future management harder.
Definitely. And the clock is seriously ticking. Week 1 against the Eagles is, what, just 13 days away now?
Wow, yeah, that's close. And this raises that question again. How both sides perceive and try to control the narrative as time runs out.
Especially with such a big deadline looming.
Right. Smith really dug into Jones's resolute stance, explaining his specific leverage. His mentality is, I got you under contract for the next 3 years.
We heard that earlier.
This is the last year of your deal under the rookie scale. And then I can franchise tag you next year, and I can franchise tag you the year after.
The franchise tag.
You ain't gonna walk around here acting like you got leverage that you don't have. That's Jones's mindset, according to Smith.
Let's break down that franchise tag piece for folks who might not know. It's a powerful tool for teams, isn't it?
Incredibly powerful. It's basically a 1-year contract tender. It stops a star player from hitting the open market, becoming a free agent.
And the pay is good, but it's only 1 year.
Exactly. Comes with a premium salary, usually the average of the top 5 salaries at that position, or 120% of their previous salary, whichever is higher. But the key is control. A team can use it for 2 consecutive years.
So, potentially locking a player down for 3 seasons total. Rookie deal year plus 2 tags.
That's right. It gives the team immense control and more time to negotiate long-term, even if it often creates significant friction and player unhappiness. Jones is clearly banking on this contractual handcuff.
Makes sense. Now, another fascinating element here is Jones's counterclaim about who initiated the talks.
What's he saying there?
He states, I didn't call him. He called me. He wanted to start this negotiation. We had a negotiation. We agreed. And then the next thing you know, he calls on the phone and says, don't call me anymore.
Whoa. So directly contradicting Parsons' narrative again, shifting the blame for the breakdown.
Seems like it. And it's also telling, Stephen A. noted, that both Parsons and his agent declined his invitation to appear on his show, while Jones didn't hesitate.
That willingness from Jones to engage publicly, it really speaks volumes about his strategy of controlling the message, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And with the preseason finale coming up this Friday at AT&T Stadium, there's this palpable desire to avoid carrying the distraction into the regular season.
Understandable. The team wants this resolved, but clearly not at any cost, and Jones is making that crystal clear.
You touched on the agent's role earlier, and I think it's worth exploring that a bit more, especially given Jones's very public and aggressive comments about David Mulugheta. Why is the agent so crucial here?
Yeah, that's really critical and maybe often misunderstood outside the negotiation room. An agent like Mulugheta, who's highly respected, isn't just a messenger.
Right.
They serve multiple vital functions. First, market knowledge. They get the salary cap, contract trends, a player's true value relative to others. Without an agent, a player is basically negotiating against a billion-dollar company's legal team. Huge disadvantage.
Okay, makes sense.
Second, they act as a buffer. These talks can get incredibly personal, contentious, like we're seeing right now. The agent absorbs that friction, letting the player focus on playing football without the emotional toll of battling their employer directly.
So when Jones tries to go around the agent, what's the play there?
Well, it's often an attempt to appeal directly to the player's emotions. Maybe convince them they're being unreasonable or that the agent is the problem.
Trying to drive a wedge?
Exactly. It's a tactic to weaken the player's negotiating position by creating conflict between the player and their rep. Jones's quote about Mulugheta, the stick it up our ass line, it isn't just raw anger. It's a very public attempt to delegitimize the agent's role.
And by extension, an attack on Parsons' choice of representation.
Precisely. It highlights that fundamental conflict, traditional ownership wanting direct control versus modern player empowerment relying on skilled, independent negotiation.
So the agent's alleged response, while crude, could be seen as pushing back against bypassing protocol.
You can interpret it that way, yeah. A firm pushback, this power dynamic, the agent navigating it. It's as old as pro sports, but seeing it play out so publicly is quite striking.
So, okay, let me try and summarize where we are. We've got a dominant owner, Jerry Jones, who believes he holds all the cards. Contractual control. Using public platforms to shape his narrative, marginalize the agent.
Yep, that's the Jones side.
On the other side, superstar player Micah Parsons feels undervalued, backed by elite stats, seeking market value. He's using modern tools, social media, trade requests, applying public pressure, controlling his own story.
A very different approach.
It's truly a masterclass in contrasting forms of leverage and communication in these high-stakes talks. So what does this all mean for you, whether you're a passionate fan glued to the headlines, a negotiator watching tactics, or just someone interested in how these power plays unfold?
Yeah, what's the takeaway?
It's a compelling case study, really, on how personalities in different eras of player-team dynamics just collide.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this situation isn't just about the money on Micah Parsons' contract, is it?
Doesn't feel like it.
It's about the evolving balance of power between players, agents, and team owners across all professional sports. It vividly highlights how much these high-level negotiations happen, not just in boardrooms anymore, but increasingly in the glaring public eye. Social media, media tours.
Yeah.
It's all part of the game now.
Right.
Which raises an important question for all of us. How will this very public, very personal negotiation ultimately shape the future dynamic between star athletes and the teams that employ them?
Will it empower players more? or reinforce owner authority.
Exactly. Will it empower players further to demand fair market value, or will it reinforce the ultimate contractual authority of the owners? And what kind of legacy does this leave, not just for Jones and Parsons, but for the Cowboys' team culture and future player relations?
Hmm.
The outcome here will undoubtedly resonate far beyond Dallas, you can be sure of that.